Eastland County Coaches Show is brought to you by Blake Fullenwalder Dodge. Go and check out their great deals this month. They got yearly runs of awesome deals there on a consistent basis. So go check them out in Eastland, Texas.
Fans, and welcome to another edition of Eastland County Today Coaches Show. This week saw the Cisco Lobos shut out the Nocona Indians for a homecoming victory. Over in Eastland, the Mavericks moved their district record to 3-0 with a 27-point victory over Jacksboro. The Gorman Panthers remain undefeated in this first year of six-man football with an emotional win against Tyler Faith Academy. The Ranger Bulldogs stayed close with the Cross Plains Buffaloes, but eventually fell by 28. And the Rising Star Wildcats had the 45-point mercy rule invoked against them in their last non-district game against Zephyr. Had a good first half. The Bulldogs just dominated the second half. Let's get to our Friday night action, shall we? The Cisco Lobos defeated the Nocona Indians by a 48-0 score in Cisco's homecoming game Friday evening. Taylor Massey was amassed over 200 total yards, passing, rushing, and even caught 2 interception passes. Case Gale, 137 total yards, passing, rushing, and receiving. Let's see what Coach West has to say.
All right, Coach West, thanks for taking time this Monday morning to spend with us. You got a good homecoming victory Friday evening against Nocona. Took advantage of, unfortunately, they unfortunately had some miscues, and you were able to take advantage of that. Give us your impression after looking at the film of how your Lobos played Friday evening.
Well, for the most part, we graded out pretty well. Most of our offensive line graded out around the 80 range, which is good. We, for the most part, knew where they were going to line up. He stayed fairly base defensively. Offensively, he threw in a lot of pro quads and some pro trips and stuck with that. You know, that's something he did last year as well. We were prepared for it. We did a pretty good job of stopping that and got off the field on third down.
Coach, it seemed that Taylor Massey seemed to be all over the field Friday evening. He was throwing passes, he was running the ball, and he also made, I think, a couple of defensive interceptions. Tell us about the leadership that Massey provides now that he's healthy and back on the team.
Well, it sure is nice to have him. You know, we got a kid that is healthy, and he's got such experience from his last 2 years, and being able to utilize him in so many positions just makes it difficult to scheme for him. And he caught a touchdown pass. He threw a touchdown pass. We'll find a way to get him the ball, on a run here and there as a running back. And then defensively, he had 2 interceptions, and one of them was a long return to their end. So definitely proud to have Taylor back.
All right, Coach, this week you're on the road at Millsap, another district game. Always tough when you go on the road. Tell us a little bit about what you see from Millsap and how they will challenge the Lobos this Friday evening.
Well, Millsap bases out of the eye. They've run a lot of spread last week. They defensively run a 3-4, which is good for us. We haven't seen that defense in a while, and that's something we need to prepare for future games. So just seeing something other than an even front will be helpful for us.
Our thanks to Coach West. The Lobos will take on the Millsap Bulldogs this Friday evening in Millsap for their 4th district game of the season. Kickoff is 7:30. Let's go down to Eastland, where the Eastland Mavericks started quick and defeated the Jacksboro Tigers 51-24 here at Maverick Stadium. Leading the stats was Josh Gosnell, 149 yards rushing. He also passed for 204 yards. His leading receiver, Chris Martinez, 7 catches, 92 yards. Let's see what Coach Watkins has to say.
Coach Watkins, thanks for your time this Monday morning. You had a nice victory against Jacksboro home Friday evening. Give us your impression as you saw the game from the sideline and as you've seen film. Give us your impression of how your Mavericks played Friday evening.
Oh, after film, we were pleased. We we did a lot of things that we were happy with and pleased with. Effort was there again. We felt like we were physical. We didn't turn the ball over, took care of the ball. I believe got a couple turnovers. So did a lot of things right. Had some mental busts defensively, had some drop passes offensively. That I believe we had 3 drop touchdowns in the first half. And we talk. Jacksonville's a lot better football team, but when we play a really good football team, we're not going to get second chances. And so there's stuff we still got to fix and grow on. But I believe we're continuing to get better, and we just got to continue to grow again this week.
Yes, sir. Tell me a little bit about the play of your senior quarterback. He seemed to get a lot of yards on the ground and also through the air. Tell us about how Josh is playing and his leadership as a senior.
He's doing a good job leading the guys, leading the offense, being the leader on the field that he has to be, especially at the quarterback position. We talked last week about Chris having big games, and Chris continued to play well. But, one thing that Jacksboro was going to do is they were going to, let Josh try and beat him and not Chris this week. And Josh did a great job stepping up and going through his reads and doing what he had to do. And I believe he had 150 yards rushing and 200-some yards passing, and so the yards were there and the explosives were there. But probably the thing that I was most proud of is, again, he didn't turn the ball over. And,
right.
That's the big thing for us. We tell them our explosives are going to be there as long as we take care of the football, and that's the thing we harp on the most. And we were able to hold on to the ball and take care of it last week, and that's what gave us a chance to win.
All right, Coach, this week we've got Holiday, your next district opponent. Tell us what you believe how you believe the Eagles will challenge you this Friday evening, and what you're going to do to come away with another district victory.
Holiday, they played Henrietta tough the other night. Had a couple key breaks that went Henrietta's way, or it's a lot closer game than the score indicated. And so they're going to be fired up and looking to get their next district win here. And we got to come out and we got to play Maverick football. We got to take care of the football like we always talk about. But we have to play good assignment defense because their wing T offense, they have some really fast backs that we can't get loose, because if they get out in the open, we're not going to catch them. So we got to get them before they get started. So we're going to have to play assignment football defensively and be a physical football team, get a lot of guys to the ball. We got to force some turnovers to get us a short field. And then, we've got to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. If we can do those things, then we'll put ourselves in a good position.
Our thanks to Coach Watkins. The Mavericks will take on the Holiday Eagles this Friday evening here in Eastland. Kickoff is 7:30. It's their 4th district game. The Gorman Panthers had an emotional victory over the Tyler Faith Academy Eagles Friday evening, 58-19. A key leader on the Panthers team had a parent pass away this past week. Then the game ended when a Tyler Faith player was seriously injured on the field and was taken to a local hospital. Stats for the Gorman Panthers: Ismael Herrera rushed for over 100 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. Flavio Herrera rushed for 89 yards, 1 touchdown, passed for 94 yards, and scored 3 touchdowns. Coach Williamson was not available this morning due to a conference that he had in Abilene, and so he emailed me some answers to questions this morning, and let me share those with you at this time. I told Coach Williamson they'd had a nice win over Tyler Faith. I asked him how the team performed on Friday evening. He answered, offensively, they came out a little flat in the first quarter. They moved the ball down the field and stalled out at the 10-yard line. We just couldn't get things going with our game plan, Coach said. We made some adjustments and went to the spread offense to use our speed in the open spaces. That seemed to work well Friday for us, he said, and we put up 38 points in the second quarter. Tyler King did a great job in the first quarter using the 40-second clock wisely on offense to keep our offense off the field. Defensively, he said, they also came out flat. They were defending the spread offense for the 4th week in a row and seemed to struggle giving up some yardage. However, they did have a couple of picks that slowed the Tyler Faith momentum moving the ball. I then asked Coach about his upcoming game against Stephenville Faith. This is the second game between the Panthers and Stephenville Faith. The last game saw the Gorman Panthers win by 3 points. And I asked Coach Williamson what he expected from the Eagles. And he replied offensively, once again, they are playing a spread team. Stephenville Faith has one of the best passing spread backs in the state. He is big and strong. He throws real well and is a strong runner. They must stop Stephenville Faith's passing attack to slow them down. Defensively, they rallied to the ball well, and in our first game earlier in the season, they slowed the Gorman Panther offense down. Coach said that they must be aggressive coming off the ball and attack their defense, putting them back on their heels. If Gorman can get off the ball well this week, Coach said that they should be able to score. I also asked Coach about the emotional hit that the team took and how they responded. Coach replied off the field they rallied around to support the young man that lost his dad this week. However, on the field, they came out flat. It was tough to focus on the game, obviously, with one of the team members not with us. We made it through the week, and I believe that they will come back stronger this week and respond well. We will do our Coach said he will do his best to help each of them get through this tough time. Through God and the team rallying together, Coach said they will be okay. He just asked everyone to continue to keep the family, the boys, and the school in our prayers. Thank you, Coach Williamson, for taking your time to share with us today through email how the Gorman Panthers are doing. The Gorman Panthers this week will take on, let me get my stats here. The Gorman Panthers will take on Stephenville Faith this Friday in Gorman. It's a home game for the Panthers. Kickoff is at 7:30. Moving on to Ranger, the Ranger Bulldogs stayed close with the Cross Plains Buffaloes in their first district game of the year last Friday, but eventually lost 52-24. Landon Wilkinson had a good game, rushed for over 100 yards against the Buffaloes. Let's see what Coach Ramsey has to say.
All right, Coach Ramsey, thanks for taking time out of your Monday morning to spend with us. You played at Cross Plains for your homecoming game Friday evening, played a good first half. In fact, had to lead a couple times, and then unfortunately the Buffaloes were able to take advantage of maybe a little tiredness there at the end to pull away. Tell us about the first half, Coach, and how your Ranger Bulldogs played.
I was very happy with the way our kids came out. They took the opening drive. We marched down the field and punched it in and scored and got a 2-point conversion. And that kind of helped our offense know that we can move the football. Then we stalled out on our second drive. Had to punt the football. I actually got a punt block because one of our freshmen on the line blocked the wrong direction. He was supposed to block out, and he blocked in and opened up a hole. And they come through and blocked it and scooped it up and scored. And then we get the ball back on the third possession. We drove down and scored again and got a 2-point conversion. And like I said, our kids, we can move the football. We can do some good things. We just got to get our defense to get lined out and make some plays for us.
Wilkinson had another good game. I believe he rushed over 100 yards, and I think Beatty had I think he was perfect. 3 for 3 is what I saw. Offense seems to be doing well when they're able to move the ball.
Yes, we're like I said, those two, Jeffrey and Landon, they run the football good. They do a great job. They kind of feed off each other. We use them back and forth, and Jeffrey was able to throw a couple of passes or 3 passes and completed all 3 of them and had right about 90 yards. And we try to throw the ball a little bit during the game to keep people honest, and I think we caught Cross Plains off guard a little bit. There's a cover 3, and we'd send out 4 receivers on them, and you can't cover 3 with 4. And we was able to connect a few times, and look back, maybe we should have tried to throw the ball a couple more times.
All right, Coach. Next district game this Friday evening is against Santo. What do you see in Santo, and how are they going to challenge the Bulldogs this Friday evening?
Well, first and foremost, they're not near as big, as last year. Last year they were so stinking big and physical. They're not near as big, but their kids still get after it. Coach Thornton does a great job. They run a good scheme, that flex bone, and they do a really good job with it. So, we're just going to try to slow them down. Maybe make them punt a few times, and then hopefully we can do what we do with our offense and their defense. Like I said, they're not near as big defense line-wise. The linebackers aren't near as big. We feel maybe we can get a good push and we can control the line of scrimmage.
Our thanks to Coach Ramsey. Their second district game of the year is this Friday. The Ranger Bulldogs travel to Santo. Kickoff is 7:30. Our last stop, of course, is in Rising Star. The Wildcats lost to the Zephyr Bulldogs 84-38. They played a real good first half and just came out a little flat in the second. Ben Boucher had a good game as the spread quarterback, rushing, passing, accumulating over 300 total yards on the evening. Let's see what Coach Callaway has to say.
All right, Coach Callaway, thanks for your time this Monday morning. You kind of took it on the chin from the Zephyr Bulldogs Friday evening. You kind of knew going into it would be a tough game. We talked about that last week. Tell us how your boys did playing against the Bulldogs Friday evening.
Well, I'll tell you, the boys really played hard. I mean, in my opinion, the first half was back and forth. I mean, it was a 12-point game at halftime. I think we gave up 2 onside and missed some extra points, or it had been a different ballgame in the first half. But being down 12 to Zephyr at half was a big deal to us. I was proud of the boys for their effort in the half. Went to the dressing room, kind of evaluated what we needed to work on, came out, and we just couldn't really stop them. I mean, they're just real big, real physical, running the ball, and we just couldn't stop them. And I felt like we kind of felt that. The boys felt like even if we scored, I don't think we're going to catch them, Coach. I mean, and it's a situation where, what do you do at that point? And it gave us a chance to evaluate where we are playing Zephyr. That's a good ball club. They're a really good ball club. That's probably the best ball club we've played all year. If I had to pick one on our schedule right now, Zephyr's number one on my list. Is the best team we've played. And so we're going to evaluate the things that we need to work on this week and try to get ready for district play starting next week. But I'm proud of the boys for going out against a team like that. And everybody knew how good Zephyr was, and our kids go out there and play their tails off for half a football game. Played it into the fourth quarter before the 45-point rule ended it, and just proud of the kids for their effort and heart. And we're going to look past that game. We're done with that one. We're moving forward, and district play is our next objective. So
right. Tell me a little bit about your senior quarterback, Ben Boucher. He had a good game against Zephyr. That leadership probably is really helpful with the guys. Tell me a little bit about how Boucher played, and what do you think of him?
Well, I'll tell you, he did some things that we've been looking for a while. I mean, he tucked the ball in some situations where he needed to. Some of the stuff we kind of got where we was flat-footed a little bit, so we've been working trying to get him to understand, see the crease, hit the crease, and then attack, and then look for the throw. He's got some great receivers out there to help him out when he makes throws and make great catches for him. Those two guys on the edges, and all our guys can catch the ball. So he's got a lot of support out there when he's out there playing the game. Biggest thing is we got to get the ball in their hands and make plays. And like I said, he really did a good job of hitting the creases and seeing the holes that Zephyr gave us, and it helped our offense move the ball successfully. I think we threw for 250 and ran for 150. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers. I hadn't looked at it completely yet, but it's somewhere around there. So we had good numbers across the board, and to be 45 and still have a great offensive game is kind of crazy, but he did a good job for us, and he's starting to see a little bit more every week. So we're proud of his effort.
Great. Okay, Coach. Well, before district, you've got this open week, kind of late in the season. You might have some bumps and bruises that need to heal a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your preparation this week. Does it change a little? Does it stay the same going into the open week this Friday night?
Well, it does change just a little bit. We're gonna take off the pads. We're gonna probably only pad up maybe one day this week. Middle of the week, we'll put on shoulder pads and go out and do some stuff. But it's going to be a lot of just repetition, going over formations. We got some things we work on during the bye week to help us in district play. We may put on a new scheme or something like that, and then just start evaluating Panther Creek and kind of see where we need to be for that ball game. It's hard to take 2 weeks and prepare for one game, so we got to slow everything down a whole lot to where the kids don't get bored just working on the same thing every day. So we're going to basically, this week's going to be a lot of just repetition, throwing, catching, just fundamental football stuff. And then as we move into next week, we'll start implementing some more of that Panther Creek stuff in there. Because if you work on a team for 2 weeks, you get kind of tired of working on that team. And high school boys, they're ready for Friday. They're always ready for Friday. We live for Fridays. And so if you're sitting there pounding Panther Creek's film on them every day, by the time you get to this Friday, they're thinking it's game day, and it's not. And then we got another week of doing the same thing over and over again. So we're going to slow down, take a little time, do some extra point work on special teams, and just really focus on the fundamentals and let these kids just kind of heal up. We got some bruises. We played a tough schedule these first seven games. First 7 games, so we let them heal up a little bit, put some tape on some wounds, and just move, get ready for district play starting next week.
Our thanks to Coach Callaway. The Rising Star Wildcats, as you heard earlier, are open this week in preparation for their district schedule, which begins next Friday. Let's now talk about some other Eastland County sports news, shall we? Football. The Cisco College Wranglers got their first conference win of the year as they went to Kilgore and defeated Kilgore 20-12. Congratulations, Coach Dean and the Wranglers. Leading the rushing attack for the Wranglers was Chris Gardner. He had 11 carries for 70 yards. Passing, Richard Legault completed 18 of 25 passes for 231 yards. His favorite receiver, Nate Phillips, caught 3 passes for 70 yards. Again, congratulations, Wranglers, on your first conference win. In volleyball news, Eastland has lost their first 2 district matches versus Jim Ned and Breckenridge. They look to bounce back this week with Clyde and a non-district matchup against the Albany Lady Lions. Both Ranger and Gorman are in the second half of their district schedules, and they are both battling for their playoff lives. Both teams find themselves in the middle of the standings. Each win is very important, very crucial for Ranger and Gorman. Ranger College took the first of 2 matches against Cisco College last week in 3 straight sets. You hopefully saw the pictures of that game in our Thursday paper. Speaking of Cisco and Ranger College, both teams, ladies teams, will be playing soccer against one another this Tuesday. In fact, this afternoon at 2 o'clock. That matchup will be in Ranger, featuring the Lady Wranglers and the Lady Rangers. Cisco is still undefeated in conference play, while Ranger looks for their second win in conference. The region tournament will be very shortly. That will be hosted in Cisco. I'll have more details on that at a later time. Let's now move to cross country. All of our high school cross country teams are running in district this week. Cisco and Eastland will run Wednesday morning at the Park Country Club just north of Comanche for their district cross country meet. Rising Star runs next Monday in Eula. Good luck to all our teams as they run in their district races. For more details, summaries, and photos of all our fall sports, please pick up a copy of the Eastland County Today at your local newsstand. This has been Stephen Forrester, your ECT Sports Editor. Make some wonderful memories this week. God bless you.